I've been delaying it for months, but not months. I've been delaying it for a month. But the 2025 NBA draft. It was one to remember because there was a whole lot of bad picks. But hey, I'm not a GM for a team like um the Jazz or the Wizards or the Spurs, I would have made some things different in the draft, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna like go in order and like list the teams, who they drafted, how good of a fit is it. Oh my god, I'm looking at this Atlanta Dream versus Chicago Sky score, and that is absolutely disgusting. But this is the NBA, not WNBA, so let's get started. All right, so the first pick, obviously it's Cooper Flag, and that is such a great pickup for the Mavs because Nico just got bailed out. Now his first game versus Bronny was one to forget, but then the next game he had like 31, I believe. So obviously once a generational talent. I feel like we're not gonna have one of these generational guys for another 5 to 10 years. It's too early to tell, but everyone's gonna say, "Oh, AJ DeBanska, Dylan Peterson, Cam Boozer, those are all great guys, but they're not on the same level as like Vic and Cooper, you know." And that could come back to haunt me, but that's just my personal opinion about it. Next pick, um, last month whenever we went on the cruise, I don't know whether it was on video or not. It might have been in the video that got deleted, but I said that Dylan Harper shouldn't be a Spur. They have not only De'Aaron but Stephon Castle, and yeah, whenever De'Aaron leaves, you have a very young guy like a Tony Parker who can play make. But I would have loved to see Trey Johnson here. Like whether they traded back with Charlotte or Utah, I don't know. But yeah, Dylan Harper is still an amazing player. So I'm gonna give that an A. Third pick was VJ Edgecombe. Now I thought it was either gonna be VJ or Khan or even Trey Johnson here. They obviously went with VJ, who has, I feel like Trey had the better college career, but based on potential, it's definitely VJ. I just hope they don't mess him up like they did with Ben Simmons, Markelle Fultz, because VJ is a great player. So I can't wait to see what happens with him. Fourth pick, they kept it close with the hometown with taking Con Knupel. A lot of people say Knipple. I'm still not with that. I don't know why. He is a great shooter. He's gonna pair well with LaMelo. If LaMelo's double teamed and Brandon Miller's having an off shooting night, all they gotta do is swing it to not only Seth Curry but Con. He's a great shooter. That's a great pick. I don't know whether they're gonna try to get Ace here with the fourth pick. He's kind of like a Brandon Miller 2.0, but I think it's gonna work out great. Fifth pick, I wouldn't even rate it that high because you can see that Ace didn't want to be here, and I saw the pictures on Instagram when we finally touched down, like a few days after when Walter Clayton Jr. got there. But it's none of my business, so who knows what they were thinking. I would give it like a C minus, only because he has potential, but like he does not want to be there. He's gonna have like a Jalen Green type of contract after this 4 years, like a 2+1 sort of deal with a player option. He's gonna decline it and then leave it, like leave Utah, leave Salt Lake City. So 6th pick was Trey Johnson for the Wizards, and that is such a great pick. It's an A. It's an A plus. He's been killing it throughout summer league. He has had a whole lot of highlights. And another player that's just like Trey, who is rivals with Texas, is Jeremiah Fears. He's also pretty good. This Pelicans team has like no direction, but like, yeah, you traded for Jordan Poole, which is pretty fun to play, like have a team with him on, and then you got Jeremiah Fears, which kind of reminds me of JP. It's gonna be a good season next year. And then you get to pick number 8. I didn't understand why they drafted Igor here out of BYU, but now looking back at it, when you knew that you were gonna get Michael Porter Jr. and Cam Thomas on the same team, you gotta have the guys just dishing it out. I feel like at the time this was such a terrible pick, and I wouldn't say that who the Raptors drafted at number 9 was that much worse of a pick. I mean, like, you could have had like Kamon Malawach or Cedric Coward or even Noah Senge, but you know, I don't know what the Raptors' future is at the moment. He could be shipped off in a couple years, especially because like you have Scotty, you have Brandon Ingram, and you have Jakob Poeltl. So 10th pick. Whenever I heard about the Mark Williams trade, I thought Mark was going to be traded for that 10th pick, but he wasn't. And they could have had 2 Duke Blue Devils here, Charlotte, before like the second round started. He would have been a great defensive guy. He's just like Mark Williams. So now you got, so the Suns, this was such a good pickup, but you know, like, what's your fit? Are you gonna like start Ryan Dunn at the 4, or Kamon Malawach? 11th pick, you Portland traded this Memphis. So to get Cedric Coward, I feel like that's a steal. A lot of people don't know who he is. He was a pretty good player before he went down with an injury. He's a great shooter. So for that, Memphis doesn't know whether they're going to be like real contenders or not. This is perfect of a pick, you know. You got a guy like G.G. Jackson, Jalen Rose, and now Cedric Coward. Great pickup. Then at 12, like, I didn't know who the Bulls were going to take here. I thought this would have been like Carter Bryant. But it took Noah Senge. Now, he's not that bad of a player. And of course, he had that poster on him during Summer League, and it was brutal. But I feel like he's just a development player. He's going to be shipped off in a couple years for like a first round pick in the 2027 NBA draft. You know, maybe like part of a deal with like maybe him, Matas, or Kobe White to get like a high pick and try to draft like Teron Stokes. That would be pretty cool, pretty funny. Who knows though? Maybe he shipped off next year's draft and they can actually like get a good guard and maybe like Mikael Brown Jr. Who knows? Next pick. This was an A plus for the Hawks. Now, they traded this pick to New Orleans to get Derek Queen. Now, you know that Onyeka Okongwu is the starting center for Atlanta. They got the better pick between New Orleans and Milwaukee for next year. And that's probably going to be higher than 13. So, even though they didn't make this pick, it's an A plus for the Hawks. And I say this is like a C for New Orleans because next year's make or break. you see what Zion can do when he's healthy, but now you don't have CJ or Brandon. So who knows what's going to happen. It's make or break. 14th pick, Spurs get Carter Bryant. That's a steal of a pick. And yeah, that's all there is to it. 15th pick, they had to trade last year's Dylan Jones to just obtain Thomas Sorber. I feel like he's going to be out of OKC in a couple years max. I just don't see him in their future. Because, I mean, like, they got Jalen Williams. They got Chet. They got Isaiah Hartenstein. I don't think Thomas Sorber is going to be the guy that they try to rely on. 16th pick, the Magic had it. They traded it to Memphis, who traded it to Portland, and they selected Young Hansen. Now, me going over like my, whenever I was doing my own mock draft, I had him like one of the last picks, if not out of the draft, because I didn't know who he was. Everyone's saying Chinese Jokic, and watching him during Summer League has been so fun. It's like the tall version of Yuki. Yeah, I say for now that's a B. In hindsight, that was a D, but now that's like a B. So you can't be mad at the Blazers. 17th pick, was Joan Beringer. I have no idea who that is. He could be solid. I might have no ball knowledge, but I've played basketball for years. I've watched a little bit of overseas basketball and college basketball. Did not know who this guy was until draft night. So 18th pick, I really wanted to see Walter Clayton Jr. in Orlando or Miami. But Washington picked him up. I was like, you know, that could be pretty dope. And then he got traded to Utah. I was like, oh, yeah. They're getting rid of Colin Sexton and Jordan Clarkson. Well, I didn't know about Jordan Clarkson at the time, but it was rumored. So he could be getting a whole lot of shots up, you know, working on his three-pointer. He's been really solid throughout the Summer League, so you can't be mad at it. Next pick, the Nets drafted Nolan Traore, and I've heard about him. I've had some good expectations from him. Another playmaker, so I wasn't really expecting the Nets to go that way. I could have expected them to go to like a little bit later to like an OKC, but hey, it's not that bad. It's not that bad at all. But you could have had Kasparis. I don't know how to say his name. I know that he went to the Heat next. I was like, you know what? That's pretty solid. He can score. He can shoot the ball a little bit. He can play make. You know, a lot of things to really look forward to. Kasparis Jakunis. I don't know. But next pick, Utah. They drafted Will Riley, sent him over to Washington, and ever since I really haven't heard of him. I still know he's a pretty solid player, so I'm not counting him out just yet. I feel like it's gonna be hard for him to crack the Washington rotation, even though it's wide open. 22nd pick, not the Magic. The Hawks drafted Drake Powell and shipped him off to Brooklyn. Now, Brooklyn, now on their third guard, I said to myself that Drake Powell was more like a forward, like a small forward. But, great pickup for Brooklyn, especially with the departure of Cam Johnson. You have another guy to like maybe start at the 3 if you're going to try to start MPJ at the 4. Next pick was the Pelicans, who they traded to Atlanta. and they drafted Asal Newell. He's a pretty good player. And he's has his roots to Atlanta because he played right outside for the University of Georgia. He knows his way around. I feel like he's gonna be even more comfortable. And I really haven't heard that much of Asal Newell since he got to Summer League. But again, he has insane potential. Next pick, Sacramento via OKC drafted Nike Clifford from Colorado State University, or I don't know, something. Again, a lot of this draft really was like lottery headed draft, and a lot of second round picks are pretty decent. Wouldn't say that they're all that bad, but I don't know why Sacramento would do this when literally the next pick was Jace Richardson. For the Magic, maybe I'm biased because that's my favorite team because of proximity to home, but that's an A plus. A lot of people had him a month before the draft, had him at 16 to the Magic. I'm surprised that they even got him this late into the first round. Perfect picked up, left-handed shooter, which I love. The Nets then had back-to-back picks where they selected Ben Saraff, another guard. So then I was surprised. Oh, you're going to select another guard. They drafted a center in Danny Wolf, which I love. He's a playmaking center, but he's such a fun player to watch that I'm not even that mad. 28th pick, the Celtics selected Hugo Gonzalez, and there's really not that much to the pot. You're just trying to, if you're the Celtics, you're trying to get as much as you can because he traded Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis, and you could still potentially trade Derek White depending on the package that you get for him. Who knows? Number 29, this is where Phoenix traded to Charlotte, Liam McNeely, and he's a pretty good player. A pretty good player for UConn. Obviously he didn't live up to the college hype. He was still a pretty solid player, but he had a very hard adjusting. And during the summer league, he's been pretty solid. A 20-point double-double. He only had like one or two of those during college. First game of summer league, he had one, so that's pretty good. And then the Clippers then selected Yannick Conan Niederschmidt, another guy who I didn't know he played for Penn State. So yeah. First pick of the second round, the Suns traded for Rasheer Fleming, who is pretty nice player. A lot of these guys in the second round are really good players. So, including number 32. Maybe I'm biased, but I think Noah Penda is a great guy. Number 93. And if you don't know, he reps 93 because that's where he's from. Wemby is from the 92 out in France. Noah Penda is from 93. So, pretty good. Pretty cool. 33rd, Charlotte got another Duke player in Sion James. Pretty raw player. I was surprised he was even going to get drafted, nevertheless, this high. If I had him on the draft board, I would expect him to go much lower. But hey, that's just recognizing talent in the area. Number 34, they Charlotte selected Ryan Kalkbrenner, and they are finna have a crazy trio in Charlotte with cock, ball, and nipple torture. I didn't know if that would be funny or not, so I think I'm just gonna keep on going with Johnny Broome going to Philly. I mean, he had a good season and all. I didn't think he was gonna get drafted because he's pretty much older than a whole lot of people, and his vertical is somehow a whole lot shorter. Well, not a whole lot, it's half an inch, but it's shorter than a 464-pound dude. That's kind of crazy, don't you think? But he went 35th to Philly, and Philly's just desperate place right now. Number 36, LA decided to get Adel Tierra, so he's decent. They needed a bigger guy for so they picked him up from Arkansas, so that was pretty good. 37th overall pick was Shaz Lanier, and I feel like I've heard about him once or twice throughout the season. And 38, I thought the Pacers were gonna go not the Pacers, the Spurs were gonna go 3 for 3. They selected Cam Jones out of Marquette. I was like, oh my God, San Antonio, you just had the best draft out there. And then a little bit later, I heard that he was gonna go to Indy. In Indy, he's gonna be good because he's actually gonna have a chance to play because Hallie's out, and now they still have a whole lot of guard depth, and Andrew Nembhard, Ben Mathurin, TJ McConnell, Johnny Furphy. Shout out to him. He put the hammer on Noah Singay. But next up, we have our second guy from out of Florida, Elijah Martin. He's going up to Toronto, aka LeBronto, aka home of Drizzy Drake. I love me some Drake. He was pretty, Elijah, he's pretty raw. I think he's gonna have a good time up in Toronto. Who knows though? Next pick, the Wizards traded this pick to New Orleans, and they got Micah Peavy, who I did not know who he was until I had to see some highlights. I don't think he's going to pan out in New Orleans, especially because they just got a guard in the first round, 7th overall pick. Who knows? I could be wrong. And then the next pick, the Warriors. They got Kobe Bray. I'm like, yes, Golden State, you found your new splash brother. And then, you know what happened? Phoenix thought it'd be funny to have insurance on D-Book. You got a guy that plays like D-Book, who shoots exactly like D-Book, kind of looks like him, kind of. Pretty light skin. That's not good. It's just facts. So, Phoenix had a great draft as well. Next pick, the Kings selected Maxime Reynaud from Stanford. Again, local talent. So you gotta do what you gotta do. Is Stanford in Florida? I think there's 2 Stanford universities. I was just reading about Stanford, Florida. I was like, oh, pretty cool. I heard some other Marion County athletes getting scholarships from there, so I think this is the one out in Cali, though. Next pick, Washington selected Jameer Watkins, and I saw something crazy. This was the first FSU pickups like in that draft since Scotty Barnes, which is actually kind of cool. Then OKC did the funniest thing. Now, a couple days before the draft, before I got on the cruise, I saw this thing like OKC's gonna take Brooks Barnhizer with the 30 and 43rd pick in the draft. So, with the 44th pick in the draft, they selected Brooks Barnhizer. And I think that he's going to be a great role player, like that video said. Who knows? Time will tell. I gotta search. I'm going to shave soon. Jeez. I'm looking kind of rough. Next pick, the Bulls selected Rocco Zikarsky from Australia. Now, a couple 2Ks ago, I was always playing with him. I drafted him because he was like a 7'4" center from Australia. He was pretty cool. He could get up to like a 79 overall, 81 overall, and he'd just be great for simulation. I've seen a couple of his highlight reels. I think he was a solid overseas player. NBA, I don't think it will translate that much. I feel like those people that make the 2K draft rosters did a pretty good job maxing out his potential at 79, because he has potential to be a role player. Not a solid role player like a Kobe White on a regular team or Trey Mann on a championship roster. I love me some Trey Mann. But, he's going to be a good player for you whenever you need it. Next up, God. Next pick, Boston had Amari Williams. And he's pretty solid. Boston needs all the help they can get, so I'm not even mad at it. Next pick, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his name. The Bucks got a guy from Serbia, Mr. Markovic. Don't know him. This is where the draft starts to get lower and lower. 48th pick, Javon Small to Memphis. I think he can also be like another 79, 80 type of dude. Cavs got a steal at pick 49 with Tyrese Proctor. Signed that guaranteed deal. He's going to be nice. Oops. 50th pick, Kobe Sanders to the Clippers. He's going to be nice. Now they got logjam at the 2 with Brad Beal just signing there. So hopefully he carves something out. Pick 51, New York Knicks selected Mohamed Diawara from France. A lot of overseas guys finally getting a chance, but I don't know how to feel about it. I don't think a lot of these second round picks aren't gonna get chances, but I just don't think he even will be that good. Same thing with pick number 54 with I was just gonna skip over Alex Tooney to Golden State. I think he's gonna be good. But as I was saying with Mohamed Diawara, pick 53 and 54 were the Jazz and Pacers respectfully, and I don't think that those two guys, John Toney and Taylor Peter, will be that great. Obviously, the second round picks. 55th pick, it was Lachlan Olbrich. Chicago's probably going to give him a chance. I don't know. 56th overall pick, the Warriors got Will Richard. Let's go. Third forward guard. The 57th pick, we got a guy named Max. When I say we, I mean the Magic, but we traded him to Boston to get the Noah Penda guy. He's pretty good. 58th pick, the Cavs got a guard from Senegal. Another Niang is in the NBA. And then the final pick, the 59th overall pick, the Rockets got Jemai Meshach. And I heard about him. He's pretty good. So hopefully he gets a chance. Now the 60th pick, because the Knicks decided to sign Jalen Brunson early. Everybody knew he was going to go there, but they decided just to sign the contract before free agency started. So they were punished by taking their 59th overall pick. Now, I just say find the money because, like, that's just one less opportunity for someone to get drafted into the NBA. You know, you don't know, like, how good that pick was, that player could be. You know, he could be like the next Isaiah Thomas. But sadly, things don't go your way. So, yeah. I gotta start finding an outro. I've been doing this for a few months now, and I still don't have a proper, like, outro. So I think I'm just gonna stop recording, and I'll see y'all on, like, the 22nd.